The city of New York is by far the greatest of all. New York City culture is one of relentless ambition, filled with people whose drive knows no limits, and these are their stories. This is New York City Pulse.
Hello, New York, and welcome to episode number 2 of New York City Pulse. I'm Zane, and today I'm joined with Selman Yalcin of RED NYC, one of the most widely attended real estate networking events across LA, Miami, Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia, and of course, our very own New York City. Selman, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, at the last RED event I went to, a woman said something very interesting to me. She said, "Zane, what's your story?" And I really like that question because it's a unique and creative way of asking somebody to, talk about themselves. So for the people watching, Selman, what's your story? Give us some context behind, where you're from and who you are both professionally and personally.
Yeah, came to US when I was 13, about 30 years ago, and immigrated here with my family. I'm the oldest of 5 kids, and went to high school here.
Where about?
In Queens, Long Island City High School. And went to college, got my bachelor's in business, and started working on Wall Street for a few years.
How many?
2 years.
2 years,
Yeah,
right after college?
Yeah, right, like around college times. I was working and going to school at the same time. And graduated and started doing my master's, MBA.
Okay.
I never got a chance to finish it.
Where'd you study?
New York Institute of Technology.
Okay, so the one by
NYC.
Columbus Circle?
Yeah, it's on
Sweet.
Broadway and 61st. And somehow my whole family was in construction business. My cousins were like, you can help me out here, help me out there. And started working construction, doing renovations, doing interior fit outs, mostly Upper East Side apartments. And that's how I kind of got into construction, and got married, have kids.
How many
paid
do you have?
bills. Two. Yeah, and somehow construction. I was doing carpentry work, supervising, project management. I worked in commercial. I worked in MTA jobs, Grand Central Terminal, MTA. Worked in Rikers Island. Yeah, Rikers Island. I did some prison work and worked like basically everywhere. And started doing estimating. Estimating. I thought I was good with people, getting the jobs for the clients, and with estimating needed some business development. And my way of getting the business was to network. And I had my small networking group where I would invite 5 to 10 people.
What do you mean, like a BNI?
No, not really. Just to have just have drinks and just catch up on things and like what.
Very casual setting.
Yeah, casual setting.
Cool.
And I just started networking and just became big and started doing events. Still doing construction. I do owner's rep work, construction management, but I'm spending most of my time doing events and conferences.
Okay, so it sounds like there's a lot of construction in your background from your family. Did they do that back in Turkey before you moved?
No, not really. No,
Okay.
I mean they do a little bit of construction back home, but I was a small kid here, so I never. My family here is most of the construction, so.
So it really started when you were about 13 when you moved here.
Yeah.
Okay, talk to us about that transition though. You said you moved to the U.S. when you were 13.
Yeah.
What was that transition like from Turkey to the U.S.? Were you able to get into the groove of things well?
Yeah, I mean the following week I was playing stickball in a park with American kids. I didn't speak English. My cousin was introduced me to new friends.
Your cousin?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know to speak. I didn't know a word of English. And that the whole summer.
Learning as you go.
Yeah, like then the following month I started school. Long Island
City High School.
Yeah, I skipped one of the grade because I started high school and didn't know English.
Mm.
Actually, I was going through wrong classes. I didn't even know that I was in the wrong class.
That's tough stuff. When you moved here, was your father working in construction at the time?
Yeah, he was a maintenance worker at a hotel.
Okay, so he's working, and you're the oldest of 5 siblings.
Yeah.
So all 5 came over.
Yeah, we all came together. Yeah.
So what was life like between your early teen years, 13, 15, that sort of range? What was life at home for you?
It was crowded. We lived in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Out in Queens.
Yeah, out in Queens.
Okay.
Yeah. And it just time went fast. It's just I took me some time to learn English. But then in high school I started making new friends and joined a baseball team. I was in a baseball team for 2 years. I was playing right field. I pitched. Got into the American lifestyle.
And that translates because you've done a lot of. I know you started working early, right?
Yes, during high school. It was 16.
During high school, you were already working.
Yeah, already in construction.
Okay.
I was a laborer.
Okay, and what exactly were you doing there?
I was just basically doing demolition and labor work in a construction field.
Okay, so labor work.
Yeah, and right after high school, throughout college, I was working in construction as well.
While you were working on Wall Street?
No, Wall Street. Wall Street. I was there part time. I was there for like a year and a half, 2 years, and then started construction again. I was on and off.
So, and you're still with construction now, so it seems like from an early age you were able to quickly know that construction was for you.
Yeah.
And at what point did you make that realization?
After the 5 years, I said to myself, "This is it." This is. I mean, I tried to be a different field. That Wall Street wasn't my thing. I tried to be a cop. I went to academy. I passed the tests, but I never went forward with it.
No.
No.
Cop life wasn't for you then.
No.
All right. So talk to us about. I know that obviously you have RED NYC, but you're doing something else on the side. You have your own project management company, right? Talk to us about some of the projects you've been working with there, and what you're working on.
The SMY Newton is my project management company, and basically we help developers.
How long ago?
This was 4 years ago.
4 years.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We did about 10 jobs. We basically help developers with their construction, and we represent owners, and we oversee the whole project. If there's, we oversee the construction jobs. Sometimes we help them find investors if they need. Basically whatever they need to run the project smoothly before and after.
So from the beginning of the project to the end, you're there to make sure it goes through all smoothly for your client.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And then while you're running this company, you're doing RED NYC on the side. So it seems like you have a lot on your plate, especially with 2 kids.
Yeah. I mean, it takes some toll when it comes to the personal time.
I bet it does.
Yeah, it does.
What would you say is the biggest sacrifice you've made over the last year?
I travel a lot because of the events that I do in different cities. I just want to be able to spend more time with kids. That's like the sacrifice, but that's what the work requires. I mean, most of my time spending at nights because most of my clients meet them during the nighttime. My events are nights.
Yeah. So
it's and if I have to travel for 2-3 weeks, I'll be away. And I'm looking for new cities to land. So I'm constantly looking for sponsors to work with. So it's taken a lot of my time.
To help expand RED.
Yeah.
How did RED come about?
RED came about when I was having my own small networking events to get more clients.
Okay.
And it came to a point where I knew so many people, and
so many people, like what kind of people are we talking? Developers?
Developers, most of them like developers and investors. And they just started inviting to events where we started with 20 and then just grew to 50 and 100, and we said to ourselves, one of my friends, he does title insurance, and he said, we could get a bigger venue, and we don't have to pay the venue, and as long as people come and spend money at the bar.
Yeah.
And we said, well, why not? And we just started inviting people, and the first event, the big event, we had 400 people.
Is this the first RED event?
Yeah.
So the first event that was branded under RED had 400 people.
We had 400 people.
How do you pack that many people into a room, though?
I just didn't know that I knew that many people.
Yeah, that's okay.
Just to have a book, like good contacts that just started sending invites, and they came. At the second event, we had 500, and we realized that we had this many people.
Yeah.
And so my partner, he came with this idea and said, we do these events, let's monetize it, and sell tickets. And why don't we bring a keynote speaker? So third event, we had a speaker, a keynote speaker, and started selling tickets. We had 700 people.
Yeah, I still can't get over these hundreds of people that are showing up. Like, so these are all people that you've met throughout the course of your career and
throughout the career
over years.
Yeah, and we team up with a lot of the other networking event organizers, like influencers. They help us out to bring the people also. So and once they hear about the event, they just come in and we advertise. We don't really do much advertising.
A lot of word of mouth.
I send out email invites and just post on social media.
Yeah,
people hears about it and come, and it's a comfortable atmosphere where they're free to talk to people and meet people, and just it's a basic event. Try to make it too complicated. I just don't want people to get bored.
Yeah.
And they come in and spend 4 or 5 hours just networking and having a good time. And once you get the good venue and the good mix of people, they'll come. Just
talk to us about that. Like, how do you go about choosing the right venue? Because making sure that 400 to 800 people don't get bored for 5 hours, that's a difficult task. So what goes into your decision making when choosing a venue?
Choosing venue, I'm looking for venues that are like really trendy. The biggest nightclubs in New York City, like PhD Rooftop, or One Oak, Up and Down nightclub, or 235th Avenue. Last event we had at the Mission nightclub. And these are the places that people knows about, and they like the venues, and they come look at the view. Like PhD Rooftop has a good view of the city, and you get to listen to a great speaker and meet the people in that industry, like-minded people, and we do it on Thursdays. It's a good day to go out and stay late. And it works.
Based on the feedback you've received, like, how would you say people view RED differently than other networking events?
With other networking events, so you could have a networking event run by a mortgage company or insurance company, or like a broker. They would invite the people that, either their clients or prospective clients, or people that they want to meet. But the RED is for everyone in real estate. Is
all under one roof.
All under one roof. Okay. But basic idea is to the developer will come in and meet investors. Investors meet with other investors. Brokers will meet developers. Subcontractors will like to meet other contractors. So it's like there's value for everyone.
Yeah.
And once you combine all of that, and the timing and the venue and the good mix of crowd, it works. And usually at my events, we have events from 6 to 10. People say it's until midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Keep networking.
Yeah, you mentioned that sometimes people are still hanging around when the sun comes back.
Oh, yeah. It's because the venues are open until 4 a.m.
Right.
They stay all night.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and you founded Red 2 years ago, or a
Yeah,
year and a
2 years.
half?
2 years.
2
ago.
years. Okay.
2 years
So
ago.
when you and your partner founded Red 2 years ago, you obviously had some vision for what you wanted it to grow into, right? So what was that vision when you started, and how has it evolved since then?
So my vision is to make this into a media company.
A media company.
A media company, yeah. I mean, I will still do the RED events, and we start doing private events, private dinners, private events, and we host conferences also, like investment conferences. We had series of events in Art Basel. We team up with other conferences, and we host
other conferences like what?
Like we team up with BizNow. We team up with
BizNow, and they're another big, event organizer.
We've done
for
a few events
real
with
estate.
them. Real Deal was one of our media sponsor. Connect Media was.
Real Deal is for those of you that don't know, it's the dominant trade magazine for everything real estate.
And Connect Media is another conference organizer that support us, and our media partner. IMN is another conference organizer.
IMN?
IMN, yeah.
I haven't heard.
They do private equity real estate
Okay.
events. Opal does family office conferences. They support us. I mean, we have like other small. We team up. It's last event 2 weeks ago. We had an event with Chinese company that we hosted a Chinese real estate investor forum.
I wanted to go to that one, but tickets were all sold out.
Yeah, it was sold out
Very
like 4
quickly.
days before.
Yeah.
It was sold out. And we host events with Israeli company called Nadlan in the city. They come. They host conferences once a year, and we team up with them. And sometimes they reach out to us. We reach out to them and collaborate, and win-win for everyone. Because I'm not competing with anyone. I'm not trying to compete with anyone, or I don't have any competitors. I mean, there's no company that does what I do. I mean, basically, we're the only one that does this in New York City. Yeah, it's basically that's what we do. And I want to take this into media companies, so we have newsletters that goes out.
So you send it to
all
everyone
my,
over
all my
email?
subscribers. Yeah.
How many subscribers would you say?
In New York, we have about 160,000.
160,000
email
all in real
list.
estate.
Yeah. In Chicago, we have about close to 60,000. Miami is about 40,000.
New York
Los
is the
Angeles,
lead.
Los Angeles
Like
is
that.
about 45.
Okay.
So, and we want we haven't done any event in Philly, Boston, or DC, but we're organizing. We'll have this event coming up in a few months.
In a few months?
Yeah.
So, like, definitely in 2019?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'd like to expand to a few international cities.
Okay.
London, Istanbul, Tel Aviv, probably Hong Kong. Well, we'll see. I mean, if there's
Is there a
sponsors.
time frame for all this?
Well, in next year, we'd like to do it in next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next year, you'd like to expand to those other cities in the
Yeah.
US. What else do you have in store for Red next year?
We'd like to do more private events.
Like what
Like-
kind of...
Like black tie, red carpet events, where I just want to host for just for investors type of events, and private dinners. Would like to do more of that.
And then these, where would they be? I mean, like most of the Red events now are in these, PhD and 101.
Yeah, regular events are at the clubs, nightclubs, and.
By the way, like, why not at a hotel? Like, why not at, like, most networking events are either like in the Hilton Hotel or they're in some hotel ballroom.
It's too boring. I mean,
Too boring.
I'm not. I don't want to do an event like a cocktail event with people. I just talk, and they come in and leave in like an hour or two. But if you do it at a nice, trendy nightclub with
You want
nice
people to
good
stay
music,
for a
with
while.
DJing, they stay longer. Because that's what New Yorkers want.
Right.
It's just that's how the New York lifestyle is.
Do you think maybe it's more easy to network in an environment that's like high energy and
Yes, high energy, and people get more excited. They're more motivated to talk to each other also.
more motivated
Yeah.
and easier to
Yeah.
make those connections?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what would you say? Because like, I know some people that like networking can be a difficult thing. It could be a bit daunting. So, like, what would your advice be to someone who, let's say, they walk into an event. Let's say they walk into one of the Red events, right? You have 500 plus people there. What should they do? What's the best way to make the most of the night?
I mean, they have to just go to any person, because everybody's going to the event for a reason, to meet other people.
Yeah.
I mean, don't be afraid to talk to somebody and say, hey, what brings you here? It's like the easiest way to break an ice. Like,
so is that what you would do?
Yeah, what brings you here? Like, how do you know the host? Just talk about the host.
How do you know the host?
Yeah, like, how do you know host? That's like the common thing you can talk about.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, how do you know Selman?
Okay.
Probably, somebody. I mean, 90% of the people that knows me.
Right.
You just like ask them, like, how do you know the host? And you just start having a conversation and tell them, what do you do? And you meet somebody like a developer, and you're an insurance person, and just talk about, what kind of projects you were working on. Just carry the conversation. It just, you don't have to talk about the weather. Just talk about the venue.
Those are the worst conversations.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, the weather. Oh, it's night, it's cold.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
But like, there are some events, like I've been to some events where, you walk into the room and everybody seems to be fully engaged in their conversation, right? Like if there are two people having a conversation, they're both facing each other, fully engaged. If it's a group of three or more, everybody's facing the center of the circle. So,
Don't be afraid to walk in and just break it.
I mean, but if that group they're having a conversation about a $600 million deal.
They just met 5 minutes ago.
You think so?
They're not friends.
It
looks like they're having a really deep closing a deal. They're just talking about this basically same stuff.
Okay.
And how many times I got into that kind of circle and just like, hey, what's up, guys? And just stop talking and talking to you. Don't be afraid. Yeah,
okay.
Just walk in. Just walk in and say, what's up, guys?
For some reason, I feel like they're closing this big deal, and then it would be inappropriate to just jump in.
It's so appropriate because you're at a networking event,
Yeah.
and they probably met 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
Just having just regular conversation, nothing serious. Just trying to get to know each other. They haven't exchanged business cards yet.
You think so?
Yeah. Just walk in and say, hey, how you guys doing?
Interesting. I'll give that.
The chances of like they ignoring you is like 1%.
Well, I mean, that's not really a concern of mine, but more so that
it's not rude.
It feels a bit intrusive,
No.
Especially when they seem so engaged. Like, it's one thing if you're
unless you go to like a dinner event, it's different. You're having a dinner, you're eating something. It's not a networking event. A networking event is a networking event. You go there to meet other people, exchange business cards, or you just walk in and say, hey, how you guys doing? I'm ready to leave. Just pass your business cards and get their business cards and leave. Follow up with them the following day.
Yeah, let's talk about that too. So, you meet the person, you introduce yourself, you get to know each other for a little bit. What are some of the next steps to build that relationship into a fruitful business relationship?
For a fruitful business relationship is to follow up. That's the key. You could be meeting 50 people. I mean, it's just a waste if you don't follow up with them.
I went to a speed networking event and it was very, very bad. I had like 60, 70 business cards and I couldn't remember who was who.
That's like before you go to a networking event. It's not about the networking event. Networking is just the beginning. You collect business cards. I mean, you could be spending, don't spend more than 10 minutes to talk to somebody. Just get the business cards, because whether you spend 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 2 hours, you still have to follow up. You forget about each other the following day. Just make sure you follow up the following day or that night. Just send them an email or a text message, or just say, hey, it was nice to meeting you. Let's catch up. If there's any business opportunity or personal, just follow up and say, hey, it was nice to meeting at the RED event. Let's follow up and see what are you working on. And
so when you say let's follow up, you mean like let's have a phone call, or let's meet in person?
Not a phone call, because you already talked to them.
Yeah.
You already talked to them before. You don't have to have a phone call. Just text them and set up a meeting, coffee or
so an in-person meeting.
In-person meeting.
How important is that in-person meeting?
That's like 90% of the work.
Yeah.
It's really important, because it could be meeting. I mean, there's people that come to my RED events and meet like 20 people each event, and they probably have like 200 people. How many of them are you gonna remember? Or
very, very.
After 2-3 months, it's all
a blur.
Yeah, it's all a blur. Yeah. So just follow up the following day, the following. Even if you don't set up a meeting, just send them an email. Just send them an email or like text them and say, if it's not the following week, just the following. Just tell them that I'll see you at the next RED event. Or just follow up and meet them at the RED event and say, hey, are you going? Are you going to the next RED event? Just talk about the RED all the time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. If you can follow up the following week, you just tell them, hey, we couldn't catch up, we couldn't meet, but
There's this Red event coming up.
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah, let's meet at the Red event. Come a little bit early. I'll be near the bar. I'll see you, and we see him and say what's up, and just just continue the conversation. Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, the third time, you're friends.
Right.
You're business partner.
Mm. Okay, so just to recap everything we spoke about, it's, you get to this networking event, you introduce yourself, like you could have a go-to as how do you know the host or what brings you here. Yeah. You get that conversation, keep it down to 10 minutes.
Yeah,
exchange contact information.
Yeah, exchange contact information and just follow up.
Yeah. To set up the one-on-one meeting.
Yeah, set up the one-on-one
ASAP.
As soon as possible.
And
don't wait more than 2 days.
From there.
Don't wait more than 2 days, because if my events is not happening on Wednesday or Thursday, you better follow up before Friday to set up the meeting for the next week. Because if you wait until Monday, Tuesday, people forget, and you'll forget too. You'll forget, and that person will forget. Then you have to do everything all over again.
Well, then it's like you didn't go to the event.
Yeah, it don't make sense to go to the event if you're not following up.
Purpose.
Yeah, just
makes sense. Okay, I'm guilty of that mistake. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. So, in terms of your networking, right? Who's somebody that, like, if there's somebody out there that's alive that you could have lunch with, anyone, who would it be, and why?
To have lunch with, I like the keynote speakers. The keynote speakers that comes to speak at my events. So we typically pick one of the most active and biggest developers in New York City. They come in
and these are people that you personally would like.
Yeah, I personally know them. These are people that I know them well, and I always wanted to go to lunch with them, regardless. And these are people really accomplish what they do, and they came to a point where everybody knows about them, and there's a lot of things that you could learn.
So let's use Steve Ross as an example, right? Let's say if you didn't have the RED infrastructure in place and you wanted to have lunch with Stephen Ross, how would you go about making that connection?
Well, what I will tell him is that's when I was 18 years old, I worked in his house, actually.
Really?
Yeah, when I was doing renovations, I worked in his house and his ex-wife's house.
That's an easy way.
If I ever see him, I would tell him, hey, I worked in your house and I did your kitchen.
Do you remember that countertop? Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. I just have to find something interesting. I think I could approach anyone and get them into a conversation. You just have to find something of value, tell them something interesting they could remember, or mention somebody else's name.
Mention somebody else's name.
They'll get back to you.
Or find some way to bring them value.
Yeah, it has to be value. Whoever you talk to, or whoever you want to. That's what when I approach people, and if I really want to set up a meeting with them, I basically tell them I know what people are looking for. I mean, most of the developers, investors, owners, operators, they're looking for other investors too. You make a couple of good introductions, and you tell them that you could bring some equity into their next deal. They'll love to meet you. That's what you have to do. Before you ask for something, you have to give something. Then you automatically you get something back. That's why it's kind of you make the introductions and you start with networking there, and then comes back to you, and you could set up a meeting with anyone. Basically, you just have to, you go to a conference and you want to meet that keynote speaker. You just right after he speaks at a conference, and you just approach him and tell him, these projects that you're working on, I know some people that will be interested, and you probably know. I mean, you could make some introductions and try to see what he's looking for.
What about somebody who doesn't have many investor contacts? What value prop would they have for the developers?
Then you offer him service that he's looking for.
So,
an insurance company or insurance broker that wants to get the company's insurance, just tell them that I have the best rate. I could save you 20%.
But they're getting pitched all the time, though.
But you have to be real. You have to be real. Don't just say, I'll save you 20%. Just prove it.
Yeah.
It's like a 2-minute elevator pitch. Just prove it in 2 minutes that you could save them 20%. Yeah. Once they believe it, they'll contact you. Everyone wants to save money, whatever they do. Whether it could be insurance or whether it could be construction company that wants to do your job cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the same quality, a little bit less. Why not?
Mm. Always looking for an angle to save money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, final question here, Selman. Final question. Ready for it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah? Okay, finish this sentence.
Yeah.
Selman Yalcin is...
Selman Yalcin is the networking king.
the networking king of the United States networking king
Not
in
yet.
New York City? Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Not yet, but hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. Alrighty. With that, we end. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you on the next episode. Thank you, Selman, for coming.